Hey y'all, it's Connie. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be just a little bit different. I was asked by a cheer mom to put together some kits for the Waller High School cheerleaders to assemble themselves to wear the night of the homecoming game. Stick around, let's see how these kits come together. Alright, let's go through these kits and make sure everybody has what they need. First off, everyone needs a mum flower, one pipe cleaner, your garter. Now and everybody's going to need stapler, scissors, and a hot glue gun. Now, freshmen, sophomore, and juniors, you're going to receive a cup like this. It will have your class star, 3 of the cardboard cutouts, all of your ribbons, all of your trinkets and chains. Put this back up. And then you will each need to pick up 2 of the wide black ribbons and 4 of this size of the maroon. And then seniors, same thing. Here's your cup. You have 2 trinkets on top, your cardboard circles, and then all of your ribbons are inside this cup. And seniors will need to pick up 2 of the wide white ribbons, 2 of the solid white iridescent ribbons, and 2 of the sheer iridescent ribbons. And I've sent silver, maroon, and black curly ribbon with April. So you guys will be able to cut what you need off of that to hang your bells. So make sure you have everything you need, and let's get started. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is put your flower together to make sure that it does not come apart when we attach it to the mum. So for this step, you're going to need your pipe cleaner, your flower, don't throw it, scissors, and your hot glue. First thing we need to do is open up this flower and find the green part in the center. Put your finger right over top of that, flip it over, and hold on to it. Okay? Pop this green back off. And this stem, we're going to cut that flat right up against the flower. Okay? Take some hot glue. Put a dot right over where you cut it. Not a dot, put a bit. Take your pipe cleaner and insert it all the way through. I smear a little bit of glue on that. Insert it all the way through until you feel it coming out the other side. Okay, we're just going to hold this here for just a minute and let that glue set up. What this is doing is grabbing all of the different layers of your flower. Go ahead and flip it over. And you will see that that pipe cleaner came straight through the middle of your flower. You probably felt it. The pipe cleaner is right inside. And we are going to put some hot glue right here. And then take and squeeze the flower around it so it grabs a hold of that pipe cleaner. And that will secure your flower together. It will not come apart. All that bouncing around y'all are going to be doing out there cheering, this is going to keep your flower from falling off. It's going to take a minute for that to set up. And there we go. Your flower is complete and ready to go on your mum. That is going to be the absolute last step we do. So go ahead and put this to the side, let it completely dry, and we'll go on to putting our ribbons. Okay. I find it easier if I lay out my ribbons in the order that I'm going to be putting them on the mum. 99% of the time, I start with the largest ribbons in the back. So let's get these ribbons laid out to make it easier for you to put them on. Start with the whitest black, and then the white, and then the maroon, the plain maroon. You've got some printed maroon ribbon in there as well. These actually come next on the mum to bring some silver in. Your dog bone, and then your Go Bulldogs, and then your Mylar ribbons. You have 2 of those. And then your Cheer and Homecoming, and the whiter silver. Now let's start out with one of your cards. Yours will have a hole in it, mine doesn't. I gave y'all all the ones with the holes in them. Alright, now that we have all this lined out, let's start assembling these. I like to put a V-cut in the bottom of my ribbons. And to do that is very, very simple. Take and fold them, but do not crease them in half. And cut from the pointed outside edge up to the fold. This is the outside edge up to the fold. And it cuts it in the shape of a V. Let's do that one more time. You're going to be doing this on a few of these ribbons. I folded it in half, but I did not crease it. Fold from the points, or cut from the points up to the fold. Pointed side, folded side. We're going to do that with all 3 of these ribbons. I am right-handed, so I'm going to start this way. I like to lay them out. And let's start with the first ribbon right in the center. And take it down as far as you can on this cardboard to where you still have plenty of room to staple. Take your stapler, and I just put 1 in there. That's all we need right now. Your next 2 black ribbons are going to kick out on the side of this one. They will overlap in the middle, don't worry about that. Do not let them go over the edge of your circle. If it's over a little bit, it's not going to be a problem. You just don't want it hanging off like that. And all you want to do is make sure that there's about the same, that they cross here, about that you have about the same distance between them here. Staple them into place. And that part is done. I'm going to go ahead and cut all 3 of these white ribbons. This step is only going to use 2 of these. But cutting them ahead of time never hurt anything. And I cut them all 3 together. Okay. Now, 2 of these white ribbons are going to go in between the blacks. So just lay it down, line it up at the bottom, right here, and put a staple in it. Same thing on the other side. We're just covering up the gaps. And just kind of make sure that they're about even on the bottom. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. Okay. Leave this ribbon to the side. We are going to use that with the homecoming mylar ribbon later on. All right, the next 3 ribbons are your maroon. And don't ask me why I have extras. Never hurts to have extra, but y'all won't have extra in your kit. I'm just lining these up so I can cut a V in the bottom of them. If you want to leave them flat on the bottom, go for it. I think this gives it just a little bit of something extra. Okay. Now these maroon ribbons are going to go over top of the black, kind of centered on the black ribbons where the V's line up. And you can bring it up just a little bit where at the bottom you can still see some of the black ribbon. Or you can line it up completely. Totally up to you. I like to show a little bit of black in the bottom. If it covers up your hole, y'all don't worry about it. Just staple it down at the bottom of your cardboard and you'll be able to cut off this excess later on. So I'm lining this one up on the other side. And then one straight down the middle. Now y'all don't worry about it. If you need to pause this video every once in a while, do it. Make sure everybody is caught up. Now, before I get too many sticking up here, I'm just going to go ahead and cut off this excess. It's going to make your mum a little bit less bulky up here in the end. All right, the next ribbon is the silver. And I'm just going to go on the outside. Y'all, these are cut. Some of them maybe a little longer than the others. So I will just line it up at the bottom and just cut off your excess here at the top. Not a big deal. And then these are so skinny, it's hard to V-cut them. So I'll just go in a minute and cut them at an angle. So I'll just cut that piece off. You see how I angled it? Gives it just a little bit of something different. And there we go. All right. Next is your printed ribbon. Let's go ahead and V-cut these. Seniors, we will get to yours in just a minute. I'll give you the order, but attaching will be the same. So I'm lining this up with one of the white ones just to give me something to line it up with. Staple that on. Take your bone and paw print ribbon. And as I said, if you don't want to do the V-cuts, leave them flat. Now, let's go back to this other white ribbon and this Mylar homecoming ribbon. Okay, white ribbon, black Mylar homecoming. We are going to put this homecoming ribbon on top of this white ribbon to make it pop. You can see it way better when there's white behind it. So we're just going to line these up on the sides and put a staple right at the bottom. Okay? Then come up to the top and put a staple at the top. It should look like that. Don't worry about those staples. We're going to cover them up. Lay this right down the center. and attach it. Now let's attach the mylar ribbons, which are the silver stars. And I'm going to put that one on this side. I'm going to leave this one flat on the bottom because you can't really see if you V-cut it. You're not going to be able to see it. And then we've got the spirit. One side is silver and the other side is kind of gold tinged. Make sure you put the silver side out and you have the writing facing the correct direction. And we're going to attach that to the other side. Then let's take the other silver ribbons and attach those right over top of that mylar. And cut the bottom to even them up. Now, cheer ribbon. All of you have this cheer ribbon. You see the cut part? This is the part we're going to staple. You want to have your full cheer at the bottom. And that one will go right here next to the bulldogs. And attach. Now your base for everybody except for the seniors is completely done. Alright, seniors, we're doing the same thing, but let's show the order of your ribbons. You do have different ribbons since you are all white and silver. You will have one of the wide soft satin. You will have two of the skinnier soft satin, two of the honeycomb, three of this size, two of these, you will have this iridescent white ribbon, two of those, two of the skinnier silver, the two mylar ribbons. You have the Texas with the stars, and we've got the spirit, and the only reason for that is I ran out of the other one. Your seniors, you can be a little bit different. You have the iridescent homecoming, your cheer ribbon, and this. Alright, same thing, ladies. I'm going to go ahead and put my hole in. Yours already has holes. Satin ribbon, we're going to V-cut those. Remember, start from the points and go up towards the cut, towards the fold. If you cut it the wrong way, you're going to get a point instead of a V. And we're going to attach that down the center. Right in the middle. Same thing for these. If I'm going too fast, please feel free to pause the video and continue when you are ready. I don't know if you'll be watching this as a group or if you will be pulling this up on your own phones to watch the video. I have no idea. However you do it, just feel free to pause wherever you need to. I'm going to try to put this as a premiere so I can chat with you guys as you're doing it if you have questions. Okay. These are a little bit slippery, so I'm going to put an extra staple right in the middle. I am going to cut the bottom of these honeycomb ribbons. And cover the gaps between the whites. Don't worry about what it looks like up here where you're stapling, as long as they line up down here. Go ahead and cut the bottoms of these. And put 2. Saving this one for the homecoming ribbon. Now the smaller silver. Just one on each side. These are going to show up really well when you move. Now, here's where it's going to be a little bit different from the underclassmen. We're going to add these iridescent ribbons to the outside and just kick them out a little bit more out past that white. Still making sure that you keep it really mostly to the inside of this cardboard. Now let's put on your cheer ribbon. I'm going to leave that flat at the bottom because of the design. You don't want to cut the cheerleader in half. And I'm putting that on the bottom because you can see through this mylar. You'll be able to see it straight through there. Let's grab this other mylar ribbon, put it on the other side. I cut this one way too long. Again, I'm not V-cutting this one because you can see right through it. Won't make any difference. Your skinnier silver. One on each side. And then your cheer ribbon. If you have some fraying down there at the bottom, just snip it off so you have a nice clean edge. Now we're doing the same thing with our homecoming ribbon. This one is a little bit longer than that mylar. It's almost as long as you need it to be, but not quite. We're going to put one staple at the bottom. And then one at the top. And we're going to put that right down the center. And your bases are done. Let's add some decorations. Okay, our next step is attaching the chains and the bells and the megaphones and the stars. Go ahead and get 2 pieces of curly ribbon. Get them, let's see, we're talking twice as long as your mom. Okay? You're going to need more than what you think. So Let me see. A little bit more than twice as long as your mom. Okay? Freshman, sophomore, and junior, yours is maroon and black. Seniors, yours is silver. Okay? 2 pieces that are twice as long as your mom. Go ahead and set those to the side. And now we're ready to add our chains. We're going to do these side by side so nobody has to wait. Your paw print chain is going to go right here in between these 2 whites. It kind of breaks up the white a little bit. And your silver stars are going to go right here. So all you need to do is attach this with a little bit of hot glue. So put some hot glue at the top and glue it down. Same thing for our seniors. You're using your white paws. Dollop of glue at the top. And glue it down. And then attach your stars. Leave those sitting there while we attach everything else. Now everybody got a silver star sticker. Go ahead and pop that off. And this is what we're going to use to cover the staple at the top of your homecoming. So just place that right there. Excuse me. And the same on the senior mom. And then you have a wooden star. It has a sticky back. I pull that off because I don't trust that adhesive. And then I am going to put a squeeze of hot glue on the back and attach that right at the bottom of your homecoming to cover up that staple. We don't want any of the staples showing. Now, if you have gotten more ribbon and letters and things like that to put your name on, I would put your name on before you attach any of the chains or what's coming next. Put your name ribbon on before you do that. Now we have no staples showing. Okay. Let's attach our curly ribbon. Find your center. I keep them together because it's easier that way. And you can either hot glue these down or you can staple them. I prefer to staple because I can work with it immediately. So I'm just going to attach it to one side to where it's hanging down and put a staple. Same thing on the other side to where they're split on each side. If you don't trust yourself to do this, y'all cut these pieces in half and staple one here and staple one there. The maroon and black, we're going to do the same way. And I'm just kind of folding this down a little bit so it'll be hanging straight down and not sticking out to the side. And y'all don't get scared. We're not going to have tacky curly ribbons sticking out everywhere, I promise you. We're just using this to attach the rest of your trinkets. I know somebody said that. It's all good. I don't like it sticking out either. I just use it to attach the bells and the megaphones and the footballs and things. Just staple it to where it's hanging down. Alright. Now, seniors, you have these kind of bells. Juniors and under, you have these. I didn't have enough of this size to do everybody, so we're going to go with these. They still make noise. Some of you will have a football, and some of you will have a helmet, and everybody's got a megaphone. Let's start with the megaphone. I know it goes the other direction. I know you hold it this way, and it's supposed to be this way, but there is absolutely no way you're getting anything through that hole. Put one of your curly ribbons through the handle, and this is where you're going to figure out where you want it to lay. Okay? I think that's a good height, so I'm just going to tie this in a knot. And then what you have is this little bit of curly ribbon left, and you can either go ahead and curl it or you can cut it off. Totally up to you. That does not offend me. Okay? Then I'm going to go to the other side and hang the bell. And you can vary your heights. I try putting, you know, a large and a small on one side and a large and a small on the other, just to kind of keep it balanced, but you do whatever you want. I'm going to choose to go ahead and curl these, and then I'm going to put the football over here because I don't want to put two silvers right here. So I'm going to come to this one, and this is a smaller hole, but it's doable. All I'm going to do is make the bottom of this ribbon a little bit smaller. So I'm just going to kind of cut it to where it comes down to a point. And I'm going to use that point to go straight through the hole of the football. And I'm going to bring this up higher than the megaphone. Tie it in a knot. That's a little long, so I'm going to cut some of that off and curl it. Okay? Now, I don't like this extra piece hanging over here, so I think I'm going to cut it off. You do you. If you want that hanging down, leave it. If you don't, do what I'm doing and get rid of it. The senior mum base is completely finished. Let's finish the sophomore. And we only have two things to hang on this one. So the megaphone and the bell. And this we're going to glue on. I think we're just going to put that in between the two cheer right there. So I'm going to use a black on one side and a maroon on the other. And then I'm going to cut off the excess just like I did over there. Cut away what you don't want to curl and curl it. This is going away because I don't need it. Then I'm going to use the maroon on the other side to go through the bell. Again, if you can't get your ribbon through the hole at the top of the bell, cut it into a point and it'll go right through. Vary your heights. Curl it or cut it off, and that is done. Okay. Now for the footballs, you have a couple of, or the football helmets. I showed you how to attach the football over here. The helmets, you have a couple of options. You can either just glue this to the back of one of these curly ribbons, or you can attach it somewhere else on your mum. I'm going to show you how to do it on here. I'm sure you can figure out how to do it on one of these. Just put a dab of hot glue, put it down on that ribbon. This is going to be a little bit, you just need to make sure that you don't use a ton of glue or else you're going to burn yourself. Y'all be careful. I just put a very, very little bit of hot glue on there. There's no place to tie these. And then I'm just going to find where I want it on this curly ribbon and glue it down. And it will hang there for you. Now, if you want to curl this, curl it. If you don't, cut it off, which is what I'm going to do. Now, all of your mum bases should be done. Get a drink. Clean up your space, and let's get ready to do the mum heads. Okay, we're going to do both of these mum heads at the same time. They are super, super simple. Freshmen, sophomore, and juniors. Take your maroon ribbons. You should have 4. Fold them in half, but do not crease them. You want a loop, okay? Put a staple at the very bottom, just one, right in the middle. Do all 4 of these the same way. Seniors, you are going to do your iridescent ribbons the same way. Do not mess with the white ones. Okay, all 4 of those are stapled. Let's get the senior ribbons. You should have 2 of these and 2 of these. We're going to fold these, don't crease them, staple them in the middle. Y'all, I go fast because I've done probably thousands of mums. If you need to take it slower, pause the video, get caught up, and start it back again. Alright, this goes for both seniors and this goes for everybody. Everybody else, you have the black wide ribbon, and seniors, you have the white. Take these and fold them in half, both ribbons, okay? I have 2 ribbons here. Fold them in half and go ahead and put a crease in that half. Okay? And then fold it in half again. But do not crease. Fold it in half first. You can crease that part because we're about to cut it off. Then fold that in half the other way. Do not crease it. Now we are going to put a V cut right here. Be sure and cut from the open edge to the folded edge. And you are going to end up with 4 points. Okay? If you only want to do one at a time, it's perfectly fine. Fold it in half this way. You can crease this part because it's going away. And then fold it in half here, but do not crease that part. Cut from the open edge down towards the fold. And you will end up with 2 points. Same thing for this one. Okay. We are going to start with our points. Seniors, this will be exactly the same for you. Okay? I'll go back and attach those in a minute. We are going to start on one side of the cardboard. You see how much I have hanging over? There's just enough here to staple. Okay? I put a couple of staples right here. And I'm going to go back and forth, y'all, so we can get everybody's done at the same time. You might can see through this easier. That's about how much is on there. Now, you're going to flip it over and go directly across and staple it again. We're going to make a plus sign with these. Now, I'm going to go to the other side. So we've done up and down. Okay. These are going to touch just a little bit right here at the corners. And then flip it over and do the same thing. Let's get the black caught up. See how we formed a square in the middle? Alright, freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. We're going to take our maroon loops and go in between the black points. Okay? Just enough on there to staple. Go directly across. Staple. And then we're going to go the other side. Seniors, you have two different ribbons, so those are going to go across from each other. So just pick whichever one you want to start with. Put one on one side and then put one on the other side. And then get the other design of the ribbon and go the other direction. And this part is done. Now, if you have extra ribbon and you want this to be fuller, have at it. You can put some bling on these to make them stand out. You can put another set of ribbons here to make it more full. You can come in between each one here and here to add a little bit more fullness. Totally up to you. All right, let's put this thing together. Now is the time to attach your garter. Now this is going to be the exact same for everybody. So I'm going to finish with the freshmen, sophomore, and juniors. Seniors, it's exactly the same. Open up your garter. And they all have a seam in them. Find your seam. You want that seam to be sandwiched in between, because we're going to put another board back here to cover up all this mess. You want this seam back here. It'll make it way more comfortable for you, okay? Just one less thing to scratch on your leg. So I'm going to take this and lay it across. Make sure you leave room. See your hole right here? Make sure you leave room for the stem of the pipe cleaner to go through, okay? And I am going to take my stapler and I'm going to start on one side and just start stapling that one side. And I like to actually pull this stretch it out, and then staple the other side. That gives you plenty of room for your leg. You can wear it up higher if you wanted to, but that gives you the maximum width or circumference in your garter. I do that with all of my garters to make sure that they have plenty of space for their legs. You can wear it up high, you can wear it low, however you want to wear it. It gives you the option. Alright, so I stapled that from one side, and now I'm going to flip it over just to give some extra and staple it from this side just in a few spots. Now we have staples going in both directions. Okay? Now, take your mum backer, which is this right here. Line up your center hole with this hole here on the back. Now, I'm going to do it to where the black is down, but you can do it where the maroon is down. You can do it somewhere in between. I suggest you pick one or the other. Line up your holes. Take your stapler and attach. Staple all the way through these. Do your best not to catch any of these and staple them. I don't know how many times I've done that. You don't want to catch this folded down and stapled and it just mess up that loop. So go through the garter, go through the cardboard where you attached everything at the top of the ribbon, everything. I don't just rely on hot glue to keep these together. And I'm going to flip it over and go the other direction just to make sure in a couple of spots. Now your mum back is attached. You still got all these staples back here. And I just dropped it, but that's alright, y'all. Okay, I'm about to pull out the big guns. I have a very large glue gun. And I am going to take and put some hot glue all around this. Make sure you don't go outside of where your circle is. So hot glue it all the way around. All where your staples are. That'll give you a good indication of where your cardboard is. And then come around to the middle. Y'all, it ain't gonna hurt. Put some extra glue in there. Mine is extremely, extremely hot. Take your pipe cleaner and push it through both holes. And pull it straight out the back. And this one's going to fight me a minute. Well, it's going to fight me a lot. That's only because y'all are watching. Alright, pull it through. Don't catch your points. And then push it. And just hold this stuff down. It's going to take a minute for that glue to set. And while that is setting, I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. It's stuck down, y'all. It's not going to go anywhere. It just needs a little bit more dry time. Now, here's the pipe cleaner right here. There's a little bit more than I want there. So you can either cut it off or you can twist it around because it's about to get sandwiched in between here. You do what you want to do. Normally I would cut it off. I just spiraled it around to show you. Now, we're going to cover up all these staples and sandwich this garter in between these pieces of cardboard. Plenty of glue. Y'all, you're going to have glue strings everywhere. I'm just warning you. Cardboard backer on and press it down. You can actually flip it back over and squish it from the top. I'll get my words here in just a second. And just hold it there and give it a minute to set. If your glue gun is anything like mine, it's going to take a minute, but it'll set. And that is good to go. Now let's get this trinket in the middle of the flower. Seniors, I'll show you what my suggestion would be on how to place your stuff. Everybody else, get your star, and your stars have a little hole on the top. I don't like that. We're not hanging it from anything. Break it right off. Done. Y'all should see my floor. It'll be alright. Okay, I'm going to I'm going to use my low temp gun on this because I don't want to burn myself. So I'm going to put some glue on every corner, on every point, not all the way down though. And then I am going to make sure it's lined up straight up and down. And I'm going to set it on there. You don't want to squish it all the way down in there. But then I take my finger and make sure that I've got some petals attached to that glue on the bottom. Which is why I'm using a low temp glue gun. And just make sure some petals have grabbed a hold of that glue. And this will be secure. Now, unless you have some other things to add to it, your garter is done. Seniors, let me show you my suggestion on how to do yours. I'm going to go ahead and put these together like we've attached them, even though we haven't, so you can see it all together and make that decision yourself. Okay. I would suggest, since our homecoming is up a little bit higher on this one, use your iridescent ribbon that's kind of see-through, and you'll be able to see the H right through there. Alright, this does the cheer trinket. Actually has a oh, I can't grab it. It has the hanging hole at the top as well. I just pop that off. And I would attach that the same way. Like, you can even attach it hanging down right here. You can attach it sticking out right there. Senior right here. Or you could actually take this trinket and glue it to the printed cheer ribbon. Be real careful when you attach this senior because it is small. Don't burn yourself. You can put that right directly in the middle. Just make sure that you are grabbing some of those petals onto the glue to where it attaches. So there's one option. You can take this and bring it down somewhere else and attach to the cheer just like we attached the sophomore. Put the senior somewhere else down here. You can do it straight up and down. You can attach it to the side, sideways on one of these on one of the silver ribbons. Or you can attach it right here, which might actually be super cute. Yep, right there. Cheer in the middle, senior right there on this bottom loop. That looks adorable. Alright, ladies, thank y'all so much for allowing me to do this with y'all. I hope you love your mums as much as I loved putting them together for you. Y'all send me some pictures. Post it on my business page. I'll put the link in the description. Y'all have a wonderful homecoming.